Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy abruptly left the White House today after finding himself in the middle of a public dispute with U.S. President Donald Trump.
Mr. President, is there no deal? Mr. President, can you tell us what happened? Is the deal off?
Earlier in the day, the two presidents were expected to sign a mineral deal, but it all fell apart after an Oval Office meeting between Zelenskyy, Trump, and U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance that turned into an explosive exchange right in front of the cameras.
From the very beginning of the war,
you're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. But right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once? This entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you? You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you can...
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country is in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a minute. No. You've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
you haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through this stupid president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military equipment,
You
and your
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
Yes. What about
if you didn't have our military equipment,
if
you didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I tell you.
Just say thank you.
Said a lot of
except that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong.
Now, Russia's former president, Dmitry Medvedev, called that exchange a, quote, proper slapdown. To dive into the reaction that's taking place in Russia, I want to bring in Mikhail Zygar. He is a writer and author of the book War and Punishment about Russia's war on Ukraine. Mikhail, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, let's start with that interaction, that exchange, that blow up that we saw in the Oval Office. What did you make of it?
It's very sad. It's a very sad situation. Actually, it's scary that now that's the face of global geopolitics, and that the world order we used to live in turned into that public argument. And I cannot stop thinking that Volodymyr Zelenskyy in his previous life was a showman, and he just could not resist the temptation to start arguing with J.D. Vance. He saw the cameras, and he knew that he was right. He knew that he was treated in not a fair way, and I think he was provoked to start it, but that was a huge diplomatic mistake for him to make a show of it. So yeah, definitely he is a hero for Ukrainian population. And if he had internal political troubles in Ukraine before he was accused of being a dictator without election by Donald Trump. Now he's more than a hero. He's the only world leader who stood up against Donald Trump in the Oval Office. But in the end, is it something he wanted to achieve? It's a very sad day for Ukraine, I guess.
Mikhail, let me ask you, this exchange is being interpreted two different ways, essentially, in the United States. Those who are on the Republican side of things, and we've heard from high-ranking Republicans, they're calling Zelensky's behavior disrespectful. On the other side of this, we've heard from a Democratic senator, among others, who've suggested this was a planned ambush on the part of Trump and the vice president. How is this playing out in Russia? Do you have a handle on the viewpoint there?
Let me offer you the third point of view. It's amazing that I'm sure that from Putin's point of view, that's the best possible way out. Because from the beginning, Putin was not going to have real negotiations with Zelensky, and he is not interested in peace. I've been discussing it with my sources back in Moscow, and from what I've heard. From what they say, no one has any doubt that Putin doesn't want to stop this war. He's interested in this war. This war is the only possibility and the best mechanism for him to control the country. So he needs to continue it for as long as he's alive. So he was just he was just playing a game. He was pretending that he was ready. He was pretending that he can sit down with Donald Trump. And actually, his idea is to separate Ukrainian issue and the relationships with the U.S. And I think he will try to do his best to continue negotiations with Donald Trump to lift sanctions imposed on Russia. And he's totally fine with continuing this war.
Zelenskyy has said, and we have heard from others who've suggested that if he were to have signed this earth minerals deal with the United States without there being this security guarantee within the deal, that Russia would not have made good on it, that Russia could not have been trusted to honor that ceasefire because of history, as Zelenskyy tried to point out there in the Oval Office. Can Russia be trusted on this?
As I said, Vladimir Putin is not interested in long peace, so that's not his idea, and I'm not sure that any kind of peace treaty is even possible. It's just like the process of negotiation. That's the final destination, and Putin will never end this war because he wants it. But at the same time, it's a very ironic situation with this mineral deal, I guess, because unfortunately, President Zelenskyy is in that trap that was created by, I don't know, Trump or Putin together. The issue is that most mineral resources, most rare earth minerals in Ukraine are located in that territory, in that part of Ukraine, which is occupied by Russia. So, and it's impossible to. So actually, he could have signed anything. So okay, go for it. Ask Russians to stop the war and start your work. So it does not depend on him. It depends on Putin.
Russian writer Mikhail Zygar, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.